Welcome to Primetime. We have a special guest in studio. Attorney Gloria Allred is joining us in the studio to talk about her case against the mayor and her take on why he's refusing to leave office and much, much more. Thanks for joining us, Gloria.
Thank you for having me.
So thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
And I have history. I'm as a mother of 4 daughters. My daughter just took the bar exam, my eldest daughter.
Great.
And my mother's an attorney as well. So you
Cool.
are a highly respected woman in my house.
Thank you very much. I've been practicing for 37 years, mainly in the area of sexual harassment.
Yes.
Of victims. So.
And female rights.
Yeah, most of our clients have been women who have been sexually harassed by men who are in power, rich, powerful, famous men. Sometimes not so famous, but CEOs of major corporations or just their supervisors or bosses. So, what's happening here in San Diego, is putting the spotlight on sexual harassment. It's really very harmful to women who are in the workplace because it's a denial of their right to equal employment opportunity.
I agree. I got to tell you, before we get into the Filner deal, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in what made you go take this path where you're protecting women and you're fighting for a greater cause. What is it? Where did it stem from?
Well, I'm a woman. I've suffered what many other women have suffered in my lifetime. When I was young and a single mom, inability to get child support, a survivor of rape, and discriminated against in my first job as an assistant buyer at Gimbel's department store, where I earned less than a man solely because I was a woman. They assumed I didn't have a family to support, and they assumed that he did. So I can identify with a lot of the problems that women have had, and I feel that I'm privileged to be able to be an attorney. I have a duty to give back. I really don't have a right not to, because the only reason that women have won our rights is because others have fought for those rights. And I'm there to help to protect women and empower women and help them to win their rights. And I think, frankly, women should have not only their principles, but their money. They should also receive compensation. If they are the victims of a wrong, who should bear that cost of that wrong? It should be the wrongdoer, not the victim. And so I'm there to protect women and then to make these men who hurt women accountable.
It's healing to do that, isn't it?
It's healing, it's empowering, and I am continually inspired by the courage of my clients who are breaking the silence and stepping forward and saying, I'm not going to take it anymore.
It takes a lot of courage.
That does. But also I have to add that we do many confidential settlements as well. So sometimes women don't have to step forward and they don't have to file a public lawsuit.
But when they do, the discussion is brought up, and I really feel like that's when change happens.
Well, that's right. And nobody gives women any rights. Nobody ever has given women any rights, including the right to vote. Women have always had to fight to win the right to vote and win any and every right they've had. And so I never say they were given their rights. I always say they fought to win it.
They have to take it.
That's right.
They have to take it.
That's right, because no one gives up power easily, but we want an equal place, not only in the home, but in the workplace, in the political arena, in each and every aspect of life. That's what we want for our daughters. That's what we want for our mothers. And that's what we have a right to enjoy ourselves.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's talk about Filner. So this is a big deal for you because you're representing, obviously, several women have come forward. Yes. Not even the ones that are
3.
But there's probably more that you can't even talk about.
How right you are.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Nope.
Are we talking more than 5 or 6?
Well, I just tell you, I represent 3. Of course, the first and only woman who's filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Mayor Filner, Peggy McCormick Jackson, who has inspired others to come forward because she was the first to publicly identify herself as a victim of Filner. And since then, almost every day, there's been some woman coming forward, which I think is great. I just give them all credit. Then, of course, Michelle Tyler, who was the person who was the official caregiver and nurse, and by the way, she also has a master's degree, taking care of the American Marine who was injured in serving our country in Afghanistan and also in Iraq and was having problems with the VA and went and then, tried to get help from Mayor Filner. And, of course, the allegation is he sexually harassed Michelle when she was there just trying to get help for the injured Marine. And then, of course, Peggy Shannon. Yesterday, Peggy, the 67-year-old great-grandmother, who alleges that Mayor Filner suddenly kissed her right on the lips and hugged her and also said to her, do you think I can go for 8 hours straight? And she said, are you kidding? And he said,
He's so
no,
gross.
I'm not kidding. And of course I said, I don't care if he can go for 8 hours straight. I just want him to go. As
Just
soon
get
as
that- get out.
possible, resign. Go that away.
I gotta
Leave San
tell you.
Diego as mayor.
I got to tell you my story. So I'm at a fundraiser raising money for inner city kids. I'm serving food to people, right? That's how important. I'm an advocate for children. He grabs me right away in front of another anchor here and says, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Are you married? Are you married? Are you single? Are you married? You want to be the first lady of San Diego? And I'm like, I said right
God,
away,
that is
you are
disgusting.
lame.
That is disgusting.
Isn't it gross? In front of people, though, it just is gross.
Well,
it's gross behavior. And
in front or
and
not
that's not
in front?
sexual harassment to me. That's just crossing the line and being tacky.
Well,
But
it's the arrogance of power.
Yeah.
It's the sense of entitlement that if
Yeah.
he wants to touch a woman, he can do so without her permission, without her consent. You know, when my granddaughter was little, I taught her, and I also taught my daughter. No one has the right to touch you unless you consent.
Yep.
So even if that person's an adult, no, they don't have a right to touch you unless you consent.
And
so you
that
have
needs
to
to be the
respect
message.
boundaries.
Yes.
And respect women and afford them the dignity they're entitled to enjoy.
You know, Peggy Shannon, the grandmother, and Irene McCormick have similar stories in that they didn't even want to go to work because of Mayor Bob Filner.
Yeah, and that's important when you talk about didn't want to go to work. Because what's important too about those two cases are they're both employees
Yeah.
working in City Hall. And that means the mayor was doing this in City Hall, and it's interfering with their right to work and enjoy this opportunity to do what they did, Peggy, helping senior citizens. Yeah, she wasn't earning much money. She was earning minimum wage, but she only lives on Social Security, so this was really important to her, that paycheck. Plus, she really likes to help senior citizens. And then, of course, the Director of Communications, Irene, I mean, to discuss, to suggest to her that she should come to work without her panties on, that he'd like to see her naked, that he wants to consummate the relationship, that he loves her, that he wants to marry her, that he tries to kiss her. I mean, come on. This is not acceptable conduct. So that's why we need to do something about it. Are there going to be more women coming forward? All I can tell you is this. More women have contacted me than have come forward.
Yes.
So I can't tell you whether any of those will in the future come
Do you
forward.
encourage them, or
I don't encourage women to come forward or
Has to
not
be on their own
encourage them.
terms.
What I do is I listen to them. I listen to them, what's happened to them, their hopes, their dreams, their concerns, and then I try to suggest to them what they can do, if anything, if they want their privacy. I respect that. I support them in it. I don't have an agenda where I say everybody's has to come forward. It's not the best decision for everybody.
Well, I think
I have to do it on a case-by-case basis and let women decide for themselves.
I think times are changing slowly, but I think in the past, and when a woman came forward, it's like wearing the scarlet letter. Like, she was worried about the career and whether, if it would affect, employment
fear,
and social status and everything else. However, in this case, I think the women are being celebrated.
Well,
I think I have seen, Gloria, in San Diego, women coming together, husbands, brothers, uncles, uniting people. In fact, you're going to be at that march, I guess, on Sunday.
I am. 2 o'clock on Sunday outside the City Hall. We hope everybody comes.
Yep.
We want everybody in San Diego or outside of San Diego coming in. Let your voices be heard. That's really important.
Take the city back.
And I will be there. And I will be there, by the way, with some of my clients as well. So
that is awesome.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. And now in this situation, women, if anybody has been sexually harassed, it's different. It's different. You will be supported and celebrated, and protected, I feel, more than at any other time.
Yes,
because I feel like there's real change going on.
Yeah, I want to say that most of the support has been for Peggy yesterday in terms of the feedback of what we did yesterday and Peggy speaking out. There has been, a few detractors, frankly, because of, she doesn't look like a young porn star.
I was going to talk to you about that.
She doesn't look like a young porn star. And I say to them, look, there are a lot of people, not a lot of people, there's some people who are still secret Filner supporters. And, so maybe they want to change the subject from Filner and try to attack Peggy instead. sexist stereotypes, ageist stereotypes about a woman is what a woman should look like. It's just not acceptable. I think every woman is beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't care if she's old, young, you know, very, very thin,
Doesn't
you know,
matter.
heavier
Doesn't
than
matter
the
what
norm.
size or color
It
it is,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. And all I can say is we're not going to be distracted from the main issue, which is Filner. Filner needs to resign. And that is just what this is all about. And, you know, everybody get on board. Change is coming. We have to win that change, though, because nobody's going to give it to us.
I love
And
that.
I might add, Peggy will not be deterred. I just talked to her. And Peggy will not be deterred by any attacks on her.
I love
She
that.
knows who she is.
I love that.
And-
That's why age is liberating, because
Oh.
you have, oh my gosh, you know who you are, you know where you've been, and you have a great idea where you're going.
Yeah,
You- and you're-
I find many older women are the most independent women.
Yeah.
Okay, and some of the older men become more dependent.
Isn't that funny?
And it's like the men start out,
Yeah.
you know, more independent, and the women more dependent. And as they get older, the roles change. Of course, it doesn't apply to everybody.
No, it doesn't,
Generalization
but I've
doesn't
seen the
work.
same thing.
But
Men get more
sometimes
insecure
Yeah,
sometimes.
but Peggy is not going to be deterred by
Sometimes.
attacks. You know, I've been attacked for 37 years. I always say, if people engage in personal attacks, I'm glad, because that's a signal to me that they have no good argument against what I'm doing, and all they can do is resort to four-letter
as-
words and personal attacks. They might as well haul up the white flag of surrender, because they're signaling to me they have no good argument, and I've won.
I love it. As long as they're spelling your name right, because that's really important.
And even if they don't, all I care about is protecting women.
Yeah.
And they're not going to continue this risk of harm to women. We need protection from Mayor Filner and anyone else who dares to sexually harass women in any workplace. They better watch out, because they are going to be accountable. We've won hundreds of millions of dollars for victims of sexual harassment just in the last 10 years, and I've been practicing 37. So, you know what? Women are standing up, and they're just not going to take it anymore. I'm proud of them.
I love it. You are, man, you're leading the way. Gloria, I need to hold you because I have so many questions to ask you. Can you stick around? We got to take a quick break.
Just a little bit?
Just a little bit.
Well, for you, of course.
Yay.